I never imagined I'd be the one picked out for this kind of mess. But looking back, it felt like the universe or maybe something bigger had me marked from the start, right there in that quiet suburb of Willow Creek, Illinois, where everyone pretends life's all picket fences and polite waves. It kicked off one crisp autumn morning when I got a knock on the door from Carl Jenkins, the HOA president with his clipboard and that smug grin, telling me my front yard fence was 2 inches too tall and violated some obscure rule he'd dug up just for me. Turns out, he had beef because my property backed onto his, and he'd been eyeing that extra strip of land for years, thinking he could push me around since I was the new guy in town, a single dad trying to keep things together after my wife passed. I stood there on my porch, coffee going cold in my hand, feeling that deep tug in my gut, like I wasn't just some random schmuck getting bullied, but someone meant to stand up, to not blend in with the crowd of folks who just nodded and paid the fine. This was my moment, even if it scared the hell out of me. See, I'd moved to Willow Creek 3 years earlier, chasing a fresh start after losing Sarah to cancer. She always dreamed of a house with a big yard for our kids, Emma and little Jake. So I scraped together every penny for this place, not knowing the neighborhood was a powder keg of old grudges and power plays. Carl wasn't alone in this. There was his sidekick, Marlene from down the street, who gossiped at every block party about how outsiders, like me, were ruining the community standards, all because my lawn wasn't manicured like hers, and deep down, I think she envied how my kids played freely while hers were glued to screens. The conflict wasn't just about the fence. It was rooted in that land dispute. Carl's family had lost a chunk of property in a bad deal decades ago, and he saw my backyard as his chance to reclaim some control, manipulating the HOA rules to nitpick everything from my mailbox color to the swing set I built for Jake. I'd sense it in those quiet evenings, staring out the window, battles raging in my mind. Why me? Why now? But something kept me going, a whisper of hope amid the despair, like an unseen hand pushing me through when I wanted to quit. Those early days were rough. I'd lay awake at night, heart heavy, replaying the confrontations, Carl cornering me at the community meeting, his voice dripping with fake concern. Listen, Tom, we're all friends here, but rules are rules. Tear down that fence or we'll lean your house. And me biting back, Carl, this ain't about rules. It's about you not liking that my yard looks better than yours since I planted those tomatoes. The kids noticed too, Emma, at 12, asking why the neighbors whispered when we walked by, and Jake hiding his toys, scared they'd take them away. I felt surrounded, opposition from every side, but it built something in me, a resilience I didn't know I had. Every rejection, every snide comment at the grocery store, was shaping me into someone unshakable, someone who could carry the weight without breaking. And yeah, there were moments I almost caved, like when Marlene showed up with a petition signed by half the block, her eyes narrow. You're disrupting our peace, Tom. Think of the property values. But I'd remember Sarah's words, stand for what's right, even if you're standing alone. And that small flame inside kept burning. Then came the urgency. I couldn't drift anymore. The HOA sent a formal notice, threatening eviction if I didn't comply. And that's when I knew it was now or never. Like an alarm bell ringing in my soul. I paused, let the truth sink in. I wasn't perfect, but I was purposed for this fight, not because I had all the answers, but because I carried a sense of justice that could shift things. Fear whispered I wasn't enough. Doubt said I'd fail, but nah. I shook it off, drawing from that inner power, love for my kids, and a clear mind to push forward. I took a small step, almost prophetic. I posted on the neighborhood Facebook group, "Hey folks, let's talk about these rules hoes with me," and the responses flooded in, people I'd never met sharing their own stories of Carl's bullying. It was like igniting a fire. I didn't keep it to myself. I shared flyers, knocked on doors, urging others to speak up, because this wasn't just my battle anymore. Looking back, heaven or fate, whatever you call it, had been orchestrating it all. Those detours that seemed unfair, like the job loss that gave me time to research old property deeds, or the friendships that dissolved when friends sided with Carl, redirecting me toward real allies. Every closed door was a reroute. What looked like chaos was design, building compassion in me for the underdogs, sharpening my discernment to spot lies, and forging resilience so I wouldn't crumble under pressure. I thought of my grandpa's stories, hidden away in old letters, about fighting for his farm back in the day, seeds buried before they rise, gold refined in fire, and yeah, my hidden years of grief and struggle were my foundation, storing up strength for the release. The weight I carried, sleepless nights, unanswered questions about why life piled on wasn't a curse. It was trust, like the universe saw I could handle it when others couldn't. Diamonds form under pressure, right? My path was tougher because my destiny was bigger to expose the HOA's corruption, not just for me, but for the whole block. Remember that season I felt blind, pushing forward anyway? That persistence pulled me through, guided by something deeper. And when I declared to myself, I'm ready, it aligned everything. I confronted Carl at his own game, gathering evidence of his tampered records. That's when the warfare hit hard. It wasn't random, the resistance, storms of threats, shadows trying to suffocate me, Carl's calculated moves, like anonymous complaints to City Hall, because my stand threatened his little kingdom. He'd attack my identity. You're just a widower playing hero, or my peace through late-night calls, even using Marlene to spread rumors about my unstable home. But I stood, mirroring those old tales of underdogs prevailing, fearing no evil because I had backup, now neighbors rallying, angels in disguise. Every fire refined me. Those flames stripped the temporary fears, revealing my core strength, scars not defeat, but survival badges. I walked out unbound, glowing brighter, ready to shine for others stumbling in similar messes. Signs started appearing, vivid dreams of victory, repeated encouragements from strangers, alignments too perfect for coincidence, like running into a lawyer at the coffee shop who offered pro bono help. I didn't dismiss them. My spirit leaped, confirming I was on track. I'd always felt different, never fitting in, rejected not for being unworthy, but marked for more. Loneliness preserved my fire, teaching me to hear that inner voice. At the crossroads, tension between comfort and calling, I could have paid the fine, stayed quiet. But no, I chose to step off the cliff, obeying that pull, unlocking the path with faith. Reclaiming my voice was key. I spoke at the town hall, words aligned with truth, shifting the room. Carl, your rules are just a mask for greed. Let's see those deeds. And walls crumbled like Jericho. The crown wasn't gold, but authority, reward for endurance, not pride, but responsibility to uplift the community. Acceleration came sudden. Delays broke. Momentum surged. Doors swung open, like the judge ruling in my favor overnight. Enemies exposed. Carl's forged documents revealed, masks falling in court, his scheme reversing on him as he lost his position. Authority flowed. I rebuked the storms, trampling snakes, overcoming with humility. Tears I'd shed turned to harvest, joy flooding in as the neighborhood healed, abundance where there was loss. My impact rippled wide, inspiring other suburbs to challenge their HOAs. Separation from toxic ties freed mesicles broken, walking lighter into new promise. Finally, glory unveiled, scars redeemed, visibility drawing others to light. Standing in my yard, kids playing free, Carl slinking away defeated. You win this time, Tom, satisfying as hell. But here's the twist. Was it true justice, or just one battle in a flawed system where power still corrupts quietly? Makes you wonder if communities like this can ever really change, or if grudges just simmer underground. What do you think? Was I right to fight, or should I have let it go for peace? Share your stories below. Have you faced HOA tyrants or neighborhood feuds? Let's discuss right and wrong, justice in small towns. Hit like if this resonates. Subscribe for more real talks, and drop a comment to keep the conversation going.